On Sunday, the 30-year-old victim expected to recover. The CPD on the hunt for the would-be killer. The police say that a man was hit by a train Saturday night on East 25th Street. His name was not released, but he's in the hospital in critical condition. The police and the CSX trying to figure out what exactly happened. 4 residents are going to have to ring in the new year in a different house. Reports say a fire broke out at a home on Kemp Circle just before noon on Sunday. Damage was extensive, estimated at around $40,000. The cause determined to be accidental. A family of 4 was displaced. Good news out of Catoosa County. A missing man was found safe after a several-day-long search. He was reported missing on the 22nd. He was found on Sunday. Russell Stroud, Nooga Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News now.
92.7 Nooga Radio.
I went whitewater rafting a few years back, and man, it was fun. This is Bruce Dodd with People's Home Equity, a mortgage company right here in Chattanooga. The water was up that day, and the rapids were pretty challenging. Our guide had traveled the river hundreds of times before and knew exactly where to go and how to approach each rapid. I learned that it's important to know when to paddle, when to coast, and the communication is vital. The mortgage world has become a lot like a whitewater trip. We do mortgages all day, every day. Your mortgage is our priority. If you're looking to move this year, then get the pre-qualification process started with professionals who can help you navigate the mortgage industry. We know when to paddle and when to coast. If you're ready to move, call us at People's Home Equity, 423-591-9801.
People's Home Equity is still closing loans in less than 30 days. Call them now to get pre-qualified. 423-591-9801. 423-591-9801. Call for more details. Terms and conditions may apply. This is not a commitment to lend. NMLS number 66247. Tennessee number 117278136. Georgia number 16020. Georgia Residential Mortgage Licensee. Equal housing lender.
Do you know who I am?
No, I can't say that I do.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Really?
People know me.
92.7
Christina Applegate, whatever her character's name was, and dude had gone to his closet of musk and brought up Sex Panther, the special, rising up from like a baccarat deck in Las Vegas, to see this made from bits of real panther. 60% of the time, it works every time. He puts up there. What's that? It smells like gasoline. It's like a baby's diaper full of Indian food. Yes. It sets off the fire alarm. Oh my gosh. If you have any young men in your house, teenager, early 20-something men, you've gone nose blind because of all of the various smelly products they use. Axe just came onto the scene, and I don't know how many products they got, but I know we have several bottles of all of them. I mean, body lotion, body spray, hair glue, toenail remover, whatever.
Butt conditioner.
As long as it's Axe, it's 60% of the time. It'll work every time.
That doesn't even make sense.
Fred the show. Free radio every day. And I won't talk about the 7 seals or the upcoming fulfillment revelations. And, you're a real Christian, you ought to be looking forward to that anyway, right? Yeah, Rick Springfield comes out with an album that I like. That's got to be it. That's it.
It's done.
It's done. We'll take a look instead. I said earlier today, either toasted or roasted. Phone lines are now open. And 2018 bit the big one, the biggest weenie of a year of all time in my life for me. So that's just me. So I will be very glad to see it go. Even when John Oliver, at the end of 2016, do you watch John Oliver?
Every now and then.
Yeah, I love that guy. I think he is so spot on. I know his language is a bit much for some, and his politics are a bit much for some, but I think he's spot on most of the time. I think he's hilarious. I think he's brilliant. And for those who don't know, he does, is a British comedian who does a news show, talk show format, and he hits the topics of the day, and then he picks one topic and he digs down really deep into it. And he does it in a very usual comical way, but it's a very serious topic as a general rule. But at the end of 2016, he had this big 2016 on the stage that they constructed, and it had lights blinking on it and all this stuff, and he blew it up. And I really wanted to do that. I didn't think about it until like Saturday, though. So it was a little bit late to get started on a big 2018.
We could get a sheet of paper and like a firecracker.
I mean, I know. I wanted some big. I thought we'd like get coat the wood with tannite. The stuff that explodes when you shoot it, and then have that light go to massive, jugs of kerosene so it would go up in flame, and they maybe end it with a big carbide bomb.
Why not?
I've got friends who can make carbide bombs like nobody's business. I don't advise you that you should.
Get some sodium metal too.
Well, you just
get it wet.
I'm talking about something you could see from space. 2018. Now, if you had a good year, feel free to give us a call and say so. I mean, good for you, good for us. Thanks again. RC2 Realty Solutions. There's some good news right there. I had friends in the advertising world and supporters who did not abandon me during my troubled times. Robin Ring was one of them. Go to info@rc2realtysolutions.com. And if you have a distressed property, or if you're in a distressed situation and your property has now kind of become a albatross around your neck, she'll help you get out from under it. Kelly Subaru, Tim Kelly, kellysubru.com, the website, obviously down at Riverfront Parkway and MLK. And they have, of course, all the new Subarus. And if it's coming up on Revelations time and the trumpet sound, what'd be better than having a good all-wheel drive Subaru?
That's right.
To be able to get your family and your few things if you're not up in the clouds and get the heck out of there, man.
Get out of Dodge.
Get out of there. kellysubru.com. And the top stories. You said you had a countdown. Did you say that, or did I dream that?
You count down on what?
Our top 10 or something like that.
You were dreaming.
All right, I did dream that.
I'm still grossed out by what was on the TV a while ago.
I don't even want to talk about that. It's just, Ryan Seacrest, is there a bigger tool on the planet?
There's not.
Is there a bigger tool on the planet than Ryan Seacrest?
No.
Why is he's on everything? The man never sleeps. And he doesn't seem to age. He did literally take over for the guy who never aged, the endless teenager, Dick Clarkson. Yeah. Apparently that, Methuselah's secret, or, the portrait of Dorian Gray, whatever it is, the deal with the devil they made. And the guy, I don't understand why he's popular. I don't get it. And they were just drinking something called cockroach milk.
Yeah.
On that show, whatever that show is that he's on in the morning.
Live.
Well, it shouldn't be on. It should never be on in here. Your radios shouldn't be on. I mean, your the cell phone shouldn't be on. Your ringers shouldn't be on. Your radio should always be on. And on Nooga Radio, noogaradio.com, the website. And thank you especially to People's Home Equity, just stepping in and sponsoring this hour for the show. And they're another group of good folks. And I was out at People's Home Equity on Saturday with Buddy Clint and doing my most recent podcast, which actually was about the 7 signs and the 7 seals and the upcoming year of doom. But, don't let that stop you if you're looking for a new house. If you're looking for a new house, you're going to need a mortgage. You need a mortgage, you go to People's Home Equity. That's what they do. People's Home Equity does mortgages all day. All they do. Chatmortgage.com. 2 T's. Chatmortgage.com. NMLS 66247. Now, before I get to the list of the big stories this year, we got big stories from Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, and we got People's Choice big stories and the national stuff and all that. So there's several different lists. I'm going to do something since my phone went off and started ringing loudly while we were in the other studio, and that's a cardinal rule. I'm gonna break another one. And I'm just going to say I don't know. I don't know the answer to this question, and I hope that I'm not going to offend somebody by asking it, but I think I should know, and I think that everybody should. Is Rick Davis completely out of business? I know that he had a health issue. I think he may have actually suffered a stroke. I'm not positive.
That's been going around.
I just heard that he was no longer in business. And I thought, and if he is, then please forgive me. Somebody just call 800-8949. I am asking the question. I'm not saying anything about what I know and don't know, other than the fact I don't know. So don't take my word for it, but that's a story.
Yeah,
I would be surprised that wouldn't have made the list. We were talking last Friday about the Cheesecake Factory. Cheesecake Factory comes to town with that. There's been 18,000 stories about the damn Cheesecake Factory.
And you missed the other 2,000 that came out this morning.
Golly Moses. And I mean, Rick's been I guess you would say maybe somewhat eccentric in a very positive way. He's a very unique individual, very successful business.
Mm-hmm.
And I just heard for the first time this morning that might very well be the case. I can't believe that wouldn't have come across the teletype at some point. Just asking. 800-8949. Jeff Styles, Jason the Argonaut in here with us. According to Associated Press, the top news story of the year, I think it'd be kind of hard to argue this, I guess. Parkland school shooting on Valentine's Day. And, of course, 15 students and a couple of staff members at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. All of the March for Our Lives events that followed that. First big story on the top 10. We'll take a look at some of the rest of them here very shortly. We have a caller on the line. Good morning to you.
Good morning, dude.
Hi.
After many years, Rick Davis has gone out of business. He did suffer a stroke. He is getting better. And someone is taking the business over. But as far as Rick Davis is concerned, yeah, at this point, he is out of business.
Will it still bear his name? Will it still bear his name? Do you know?
I do not think so. It looks like it's going to be a different owner. And that's happening, I believe, tomorrow or Wednesday. So it's one of those days. I have a question for you.
Yeah, sure.
Because traffic seems to be very light.
Yeah.
You remember the days where, Christmas would be celebrated maybe a day ahead of time?
Yes.
If you were in radio or in business, maybe a day after, and New Year's, the same thing.
Yeah.
Everyone, it's like two weeks prior to Christmas and 2 weeks after Christmas, everything closes down.
I mean, and not just for families with school-aged children, which clearly, if you have school-aged children that are out of school, you got to change your pattern. But most big corporations and companies, and especially those in the entertainment business, seem to just shut the doors and turn off the lights and walk away for a couple of weeks. They really do.
Yeah. What is it? I know it's this, and I've heard in the radio business after Thanksgiving, just go home. I mean, just go home. You can't get anything done. It's just,
no.
Boy, I don't know, Jeff. I'm thinking like you. Maybe this is the year.
All right, man. Thanks. I thank you very much. I appreciate the call. And I mentioned to one of my coworkers out here earlier this morning, my pimp Jen. Call her, and if you ever do want to get any advertising here or anything like that, and she went up to Stockton, Massachusetts, the home of the Alice's Restaurant Massacre, and actually got pictures of the restaurant and the dump where it all took place. And I always play Alice's Restaurant at Thanksgiving, and it's one of the only Thanksgiving songs you can come up with. And she's in this beautiful postcard snowfall town, and I'm down in westernmost Georgia where it was gorgeous. It was just a beautiful day, but of course no snow, nothing like that. On my way back, I was driving up to Suwanee, where my wife's family lives, and where she was raised for the most part, outside of Venezuela. It was in Suwanee, but I was going through Somerville because I was wanting to avoid traffic and lots of law enforcement. I mean, I'm not up to anything, but I mean, who wants to get pulled over and have a cop in your window, especially 5 or 6 times, which I've seen happen, during the holidays. There was nobody. It was desolation. There was nobody on the road. I went back roads the whole way. I think I could have gotten on the interstate, maybe saved 20 minutes, but there just was nobody was traveling. I thought that was so weird. And in Somerville, I stopped. It's not Alice's Restaurant, but still a pretty cool place. Howard Finster's, Paradise Garden. And if you know the work, Reverend Howard Finster, speaking of eccentric, he was the one, REM put his work on one of their albums, and then the Talking Heads did the same. And he's the one that used Coke bottles and stuff like that in his artwork, which was just American folk art. And he was a very devout man, and he just took tons and tons of little messages, biblical references, and he would write them into his pictures of angels and just people. And he had this funky place in Somerville, and people would just go hang out there. And he didn't mind it if there were a bunch of hippies or beatniks or freaks hanging out, as long as they were not messing up the place, as long as they listen to a little ministry every once in a while. And he passed away a while back, and I stopped there and I was thinking, well, I bet this place, if this is on Christmas Day, I bet it'd be buzzing today. Locked down. I mean, nobody. I mean, it gave me great access because I don't care. I'll jump over a fence in a heartbeat. And they got some great pictures. But the caller's right. Right now, we've still got the countdown going on as to Riverbend and the changes that are going to be happening there. And I wish I could tell y'all more, but we got to wait for things to be solidified, including, some of the top acts. And it's just a well-known deal. You're not going to get anything done in that business between essentially Thanksgiving, certainly as you approach Christmas, and well after New Year's. I mean, all of the booking agents, the agencies, the management groups, they just plain go away. And if there's a Jewish holiday, they take it. If there's a Muslim holiday, they take it.
Quakers holiday as well?
Zoroastrian holidays, they're all over them. All over them. You ever seen a bunch of Zoroastrians partying? Woo, man. Crazy times. Crazy times. Continue to look at some of the top stories of the day here on Fred the Show. 800-8949 if you'd like to give us a ring. Tell us what's going on with you. You can watch us on Facebook Live. Go check out the app. Do streaming audio. But remember, if you're watching on Facebook Live, you're listening to the radio. Don't ever forget that. And again, thanks to People's Home Equity for sponsoring us, because we'd just be in here just talking to ourselves for no reason whatsoever if we didn't have people like that who did work and make an honest living and want to get the word out about the good job that they do working on mortgages. There you go. Hey, that's what makes America work, buddy.
I'm the dude, that or his dudeness, duder, or El Duderino, if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
Nuga Radio 92.7. 3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news. Now.
Police on the case after a man was gunned down in Chattanooga. Reports say he was taken to the hospital where officers questioned him. The call came in around 9:30 in the morning on Sunday. The 30-year-old victim expected to recover. The CPD on the hunt for the would-be killer. The police say that a man was hit by a train Saturday night on East 25th Street. His name was not released, but he's in the hospital in critical condition. The police and the CSX trying to figure out what exactly happened. 4 residents are going to have to ring in the new year in a different house. Reports say a fire broke out at a home on Kemp Circle just before noon on Sunday. Damage was extensive, estimated at around $40,000. The cause determined to be accidental. A family of 4 was displaced. Good news out of Catoosa County. A missing man was found safe after a several-day-long search. He was reported missing on the 22nd. He was found on Sunday. Russell Stroud, Nuga Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News now.
Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. on Nuga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
As a small business owner, you know that running a business is no easy task. You're in the office and on your 3rd cup of coffee before most even roll out of bed. That's why you need office equipment and solutions that help keep your business running smoothly. The experts at RJ Young provide office technology that ensures your business's network stays efficient and secure, so you can focus on what truly matters, growing your business. To discover how RJ Young can help your small business grow, visit rjyoung.com/smallbusiness.
Your home is a constant work in progress. Repaint the walls? Yeah, easy enough. Leaky faucet? There's a video for that. But roof repair? You might want some help. That's where Chattanooga Roofing Contractors come in. They have 3 generations of roofing excellence you can count on. Leave the ladder in the garage. Go to chatroofing.com. That's chatroofing.com for Chattanooga Roofing Contractors, a roofing company you can trust.
A Massage Envy gift card might just be the best holiday gift ever because it unwraps all the benefits of total body care, including massage and total body stretch, customizable facials, and advanced skincare services, including microderm infusion and chemical peels. Share the gift of wellness and help everybody on your list be their very best. Receive a voucher for 2 free enhancements when you purchase $100 in Massage Envy gift cards. Massage Envy, making the best of every body. See locations for details. Offer ends December 31st. Voucher valid until March 31st, 2019.
Visit Chattanooga's Massage Envy at Hamilton Place Mall and in the Target Shopping Plaza, Hickson.
Have a car wreck in Tennessee? Why hire an Alabama billboard lawyer for your car wreck? You'll never, ever meet that guy. Warren and Griffin work here, live here. You get to know them. If you have a car wreck, call Warren and Griffin. 265-4878, 265-4878. And let me tell you, they've got a killer thing going on right now, the Hands-Free Tennessee petition to save lives and make our roads safer. Put down your cell phones and just drive.
I'm having trouble with the radar, sir.
What's wrong with it?
I've lost the bleeps, I've lost the sweeps, and I've lost the creeps.
The what? The what? And the what?
You know, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps.
Nuga Radio. Sitting on a pillow, waiting for night to fall.
Confess. Again, my ignorance. I don't know that. What's that one from?
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs.
Mel Brooks.
There you go. There you go.
That was the gentleman from Police Academy. Wilson.
The guy that made all the noises.
Yes.
Yeah. Boy, his career skyrocketed.
It went somewhere, didn't it?
I know Alice's Restaurant was a protest song, but it took place at Thanksgiving. They talked about the big Thanksgiving meal. They had two of the best Thanksgiving meals ever that couldn't be beat. That's how they got all the trash.
That's right.
Come up with another song about Thanksgiving. You can't do it. That's where we go to Alice's Restaurant. Thank you very much. Don't argue me about my theme music. Thank you. You just heard the spot there from Warren Griffin. And today is the last day. If you make any sort of monetary donation to the Fallen Five Memorial that is being put together by our city and county and right-minded people and artists who have contributed work, and it's still going to take a bunch of time and money. I'm not sure exactly what the timeline is on it, but any monetary contribution will be matched up to $1,000 by Warren Griffin. So today is the last day, though. Today's the last day, though. And the Hands-Free Tennessee petition, of course, will continue. And I guess another thing we could be doing that everybody else seems to do in the media is talking about the new laws that go into effect around the country, but I'm just not sure that there's any that are going to have any great profound effect on me. So therefore, I don't care as much. The top AP story is the first one being the Florida school shooting. Number two, the Trump-Russia probe, the Mueller investigation. And I'll say it again, I know it frustrates people, but it's just a matter of time. I mean, it's just a matter of time. I think impeachment is in the cards for this president. That doesn't necessarily mean he will be successfully impeached, but I think it's something he's going to have to face at some point. He can call it a witch hunt all he wants to. It's something he's going to have to deal with. Number three, the Me Too movement. The Me Too movement. I guess it really began to a degree, maybe with Bill Cosby. And then, you had Larry Nassar, but really, I think it was the Harvey Weinstein thing. I mean, that just blew up. And then you had a few others, Les Moonves and other people. And I don't know if you saw where Kevin Spacey, a very, very, very talented actor, one of my favorite movies ever is The Usual Suspects, which is for people like me. I like to try to figure out movies and who the bad guy is and what the twist is going to be. And I happily share my theories with anybody who's watching the movie with me, and it drives people crazy, but I can't help it. That's one that's made for people like me. And if you could have seen the twists coming at the end of that movie, then you are certainly wiser than I will ever be, because that one kept me guessing and hopping. And speaking of bad guys, talk about how the computer was never on the list of bad guys. How about some Kaiser Sose? I mean, that story, that flashback that Kevin Spacey told about Kaiser Sose, that's a bad man. That's a rough, tough man.
Have you watched House of Cards?
Well, that's what he did. The reason I was going there with Kevin Spacey is he was accused once. A young man came out and said, and I don't think it was any great big surprise that Kevin was gay, but that a young guy said he was 18. And he put his hands down his pants in a restaurant. And he actually did get indicted for that one. But then there was a whole flood of other young men, always young men, that had come forward and said that he had done similar things. But he was indicted, and he ends up, he sends out Facebook. Was it Facebook or was it Twitter?
It was actually YouTube.
YouTube, and he was doing the character from House of Cards that he played in House of Cards, and that's just so bizarre.
I've got it pulled up right here.
How long is it?
It is.
Go ahead. Let me go ahead. And who was he in House of Cards?
He was Frank Underwood. Started out as the whip leader, and then worked his way into becoming the president.
So he actually was the president himself. Okay.
This is Skip Sullivan. I'm the director of Let Me Be Frank. It's my first film. The development process for the film was remarkably fast by Hollywood standards. I came aboard as director in...
Well, says it's the video.
I was going to say, that didn't sound like him. I could hear it. I can see Kevin talking in the background. But what a bizarre thing to do. What a strange thing to do. There's numerous reactions that any individual can have to being arrested or charged, but
small crew.
Yes, you've got one piece of audio coming over whatever he's saying. That's not one that I would advise is going into the world of fantasy and playing. I mean, what if Bill Cosby had released a video of him being Dr. Cliff Huxtable,
right?
Or even the dude from I Spy, I mean, or Fat Albert. Hey, don't let my hands get in the way. I mean, for goodness sakes, that doesn't
here it is.
Help you build a defense.
I know what you want. Oh, sure, they may have tried to separate us, but what we have is too strong. It's too powerful. I mean, after all, we shared everything, you and I. I told you my deepest, darkest secrets. I showed you exactly what people are capable of.
Christmas apron on.
I shocked you with my honesty, but mostly I challenged you and made you think. And you trusted me, even though you knew you shouldn't. So we're not done, no matter what anyone says. And besides, I know what you want. You want me back.
More Frank Underwood.
Of course, some believed everything and had just been waiting with bated breath to hear me confess it all. They're just dying to have me declare that everything said is true and that I got what I deserved. Wouldn't that be easy if it was all so simple? Only you and I both know it's never that simple, not in politics and not in life. But you wouldn't believe the worst without evidence, would you? You wouldn't rush to judgments without facts, would you?
Yard population. Do you think? I mean, seriously. I mean, they might watch House of Cards there in the big house, but I have a feeling that
anyway, all this presumption made for such an unsatisfying ending, and to think it could have been such a memorable
confident and cocky when he's.
I mean, if you and I have learned nothing else,
outdoor workout area with the other guys, my gosh, that's just so bizarre. Number 4, just mass shootings in general. The Marine combat veteran that shot all those people in that country music bar in California. You had the Parkland shootings, of course. You had the Santa Fe shootings. You had the 5 folks at the Capitol Gazette. You had Nashville. You had the Tree of Life Synagogue. 11 there. That was by the worst anti-Semitic mass slaughter that's ever happened in America that I'm aware of. Then, of course, the midterm elections, number 5. And the Senate, there's, the GOP has a slim majority in the Senate. I think it's a 53-47 edge there, or at least there will be. But the Democrats flipped the House completely, got 40 seats. Number 6, U.S. immigration. And we spoke about that earlier this morning. And the president's chief of staff leaving as of this week, and essentially says that the president had given up on the wall months and months ago. And so this whole business about the no blinking contest, the stare off, about the wall and the funding for the wall, it's just it seems like the cards have already been played on that one. And I'm not really sure at this point. I think it is really truly about saving face. I don't see either one on budget. No. I don't know how long the government shutdown is going to take, but zero tolerance order from the president, 2,500 migrant children separated from their families, and You see the video of them wrapped in those little space blankets. And, you know, you can say what you want to say. The children didn't make the choice. And families, you know, you want to do something better for your family? Don't have your children taken away from you and end up arrested and have them sleeping in a camp. But I understand. I mean, there's the Guatemala, man. My youngest daughter, who works for the State Department, joined the Peace Corps after giving up teaching, because being a teacher is just absolutely ridiculously tough these days, and didn't get a lot of love and support from her bosses there. And she joined the Peace Corps and went down to Guatemala. She said it was 80% unemployment. And they would have marches on the Capitol virtually every week, a different group, because the economy was just so bad. It was impossible. And she was teaching English there to Guatemalan kids. And even though some of them were really, truly hungry to learn, they just didn't have the construct for it. Families just wouldn't stay together. So, I mean, it's a mess down there. It's just a terrible, terrible mess. I see my wife's family in Venezuela, you know, they couldn't even call them on Christmas. They've shut the phones down. There's no communication back and forth. And she used to have family up here all the time. And the last couple of times that folks visited, I did ask them, I said, are you sure you really want to go back? I mean, I think we could all see it coming. Maybe we just didn't know it was going to go so bad, so south, so fast. And trust me, it has. And man, Venezuela was a first world nation. It really was. It was the star. People think about Brazil. Venezuela was the star of South America. It's miserable now. Much of her family has gone to Peru, Ecuador, places they really don't have anybody that they know, but they're trying to get out of there. I don't blame anybody for trying to make their lives better, but I think we definitely could have handled this situation better. And I think the whole wall thing is just ridiculous.
Yeah, reading some articles from over the weekend, immigration officials dropped off 500 people in El Paso at a Greyhound station.
That's the policy. And I'm telling you, here in this town, when I was doing news, before I got into talk radio, I worked at just a regular station. I was a newsman, and ICE didn't exist back then. It was just whatever they were called. I can't remember. But they would round up, mostly folks from the carpet mills. They'd bust some, late night, high expensive cover charge to get in at a regular bar, but it would just be for Hispanics, and they'd have a mariachi band or something like that, and they'd pay through the nose for it. They'd bust these places, and they didn't have a line. They didn't have a vein. They didn't have an artery. They didn't have any real protocol as to how they were supposed to get these people deported. You know what they did? They would take them in a bus. I mean, not like a bus that said, law enforcement, a bus, like an old school bus or a couple of vans. They just drop them off in downtown Atlanta. They just go out to Cabbagetown and just open the doors and they jump out. And how long do you think it took them to get back up here?
6 to 7 hours.
If they walked, they probably had a bus sitting there waiting for them. And yeah, that's been talked about again. Kavanaugh hearings, California wildfires, climate change, number 9, just, pretty much half the things you already mentioned, and the Khashoggi killing. That is number 10 on the AP list of top stories of this year.
How long do you think it'd take Paradise to reemerge? 10, 20 years?
The Earth itself has a remarkable capacity for coming back. We went to Mount St. Helens right after the explosion. We were going out west anyway. And we went there, and it was a moonscape. Look at it now. It's fascinating. Even the wildfires we had here, look at some of the places that were burned to the ground. I mean, whole swaths of land. And sometimes a fire is necessary, but these, wind-whipped fires in places that are now covered with $1 million mansions, yeah, the planet will be fine. That's the whole thing, the Save the Earth movement. The Earth's going to be fine.
The Earth will be okay.
It's the peeps. The peeps is what we need to, it's our problem. That's what the dead used to have that sticker, to save the Earth. We need a place to boogie. Without us boogieing on it, the Earth would be probably better off, but we wouldn't enjoy it anywhere near as much.
I'm the dude, That or his dudeness, Duder, or El Duderino, if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
Nuga Radio 92.7. 3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
Police on the case after a man was gunned down in Chattanooga. Reports say he was taken to the hospital where officers questioned him. The call came in around 9:30 in the morning on Sunday. The 30-year-old victim expected to recover. The CPD on the hunt for the would-be killer. The police say that a man was hit by a train Saturday night on East 25th Street. His name was not released, but he's in the hospital in critical condition. The police and the CSX trying to figure out what exactly happened. 4 residents are going to have to ring in the new year in a different house. Reports say a fire broke out at a home on Kemp Circle just before noon on Sunday. Damage was extensive, estimated at around $40,000. The cause determined to be accidental. A family of 4 was displaced. Good news out of Catoosa County. A missing man was found safe after a several-day-long search. He was reported missing on the 22nd. He was found on Sunday. Russell Stroud, Nuga Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News. Next.
92.7 Nuga Radio.
What can Trade Bank do for my business?
Sign up for Trade Bank for 2 reasons. 1 is to get new customers, and 2 is save cash by purchasing merchandise and services at your wholesale cost.
How will this help my business generate new customers?
You become a Trade Bank member, we will take your merchandise or services, whatever you sell, convert it into trade dollars, and then you can turn around and buy image building and advertising through our system.
Can you help me with my unused inventory?
Don't let unused inventory go to waste. We can promote all your unused inventory. We can sell it. We don't charge for posting and selling on our website. We sell a lot of merchandise through our system. It's one of the features that Trade Bank has. We can move that merchandise for you and get you something of value.
How do people contact you?
I'm Jurgen Moots with Trade Bank, and reach us at 423-877-2202. The website is tradebank.com.
What's that contact info again?
423-877-2202. Tradebank.com.
Oh, it can happen to anyone. Flat tire, overheated engine, or just a clackety-clack, and now you're on the side of the road. No worries, because Doug Yates Towing and Recovery is there 24 hours a day for you. That's right, 24-hour-a-day emergency roadside assistance. And you don't have to accept who your insurance company or your road assistance provider sends you. At Doug Yates Towing and Recovery, we want you off the road as safely and soon as possible. So they'll be there in a jiffy. Doug Yates Towing and Recovery with 24-hour emergency roadside service. Call 800-407-2371. That's 800-407-2371. Online, yateswrecker.com. That's yateswrecker.com. On Facebook at Doug Yates Towing and Recovery, LLC. Doug Yates Towing and Recovery. We don't want your arms and legs, just your toes. Doug Yates Towing and Recovery is a Nuga Radio 92.7 First Responder Friday sponsor. To our first responders, Doug Yates Towing and Recovery says thank you.
Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Doctor, I've checked everyone.
Nuga Radio.
Summer's ends around the bend just flying. The swimming suits are on the line just drying. I'll meet you there for our conversation.
Forgive me.
I hope I didn't ruin your whole vacation.
That was an eye-opener.
Where you never know how far from home.
There's a reason I picked this song. And actually, when I was running through the
shadows cross the
pestilences that this nation has been dealing with, in all seriousness, the whole opiate addiction, and all the overdoses, the deaths, the people that are just miserable, whose lives have been ruined. John Prine, my favorite singer-songwriter of all time.
No, you don't have to.
Recorded the song
be alone.
Just because he and Pat McLaughlin got together on Meatloaf Night there, where they do their little singer-songwriters roundtable thing and did the song. Later on, somebody asked if they could use it to make a video about the impact of opiate addiction. And if you watch the official video from this song, you might have to turn it down. I'll start crying. I mean, it is literally, truly one of the most sweet and sad and gripping little pieces of cinematography or videography, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's just a superb gut shot. And it just shows the massive destruction that these things can cause. And I can speak from personal experience and in my family, without a doubt. And when I just walked out for a second and went down to my car to grab something, and there's a homeless person dead asleep on the sidewalk out there.
Under the stairs?
Not even under the stairs, just out there right in front of my car. And I couldn't tell if it was a man or woman. I was just thinking, my God, my poor soul. Poor soul is on that concrete. At least it's not freezing cold, but rough.
Yeah, we've got, you'll see her now that when you come in the morning, so underneath the stairs.
Yeah.
There's a gentleman that usually just camps out there.
Well, I would use the phrase there, but for the grace of God, go out. But I don't know that I've done anything to get any more grace out of God than that guy did. So I've never really been fond of that phrase. Kind of makes me sound like, well, God likes me better. But I mean, it doesn't take much, folks. I mean, it really doesn't. I think a lot of people are very quick to disregard the problem of homelessness in our area across the country. And I know that I'll give Mayor Andy Burke, one thing. That is something he has taken fairly seriously. Mayor Ron Littlefield did as well. But it's hard to make a dent.
Yeah, and you got to think there's a lot of families just one paycheck away from being on the street.
I would have thought mine was. I would have thought maybe 3 paychecks. But there's not another good phrase, but for the grace of God, I need to come up with a new slogan, a cliche. Yeah, this year has really bitten. If my wife had not been fully employed, gainfully employed, which, by the way, is the number 2 local story, or number 3 is Erlanger opening up the new children's center. Mm-hmm. We'll run those down a second. But that got me. I just kind of froze there for a minute. And I think, what am I supposed to do? They're asleep. Should I wake them up? No, I don't think so. They want to sleep. So it's just stunning. I've gone to homeless camps. I've done whatever I could to try to help in many ways. But yeah, I mean, when it just lands on your doorstep, that's a trip, man. When we first moved to the South Side, and I don't think that the homeless highway that existed down there then is there now, because there's just not a lot of space for them. When we first moved down there to the bread factory, there were still open fields everywhere. And empty lots. There are no open fields and empty lots on the South Side anymore. I mean, every square millimeter of it's been developed. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, we would occasionally get a knock on the door and somebody would be asking for something. And I'd be happy to try to give them something to eat. But you still had to be sort of careful. When we were there, my car got broken into once. And that's because I left it out on the street. And I guess I had some of the value sitting there. I could never figure out what they took. But I came home once, and my youngest son, the door was standing wide open. He was in there fixing a sandwich for this guy. He was just standing there looking around. And I'm going, hey, how's it going? And Lucas was making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I said, that's so sweet of you. You got such a big heart. Come over here and let me talk to you real quick. Don't ever do that again. Don't ever make a sandwich. Don't let him come inside. He's just casing the place. See how your brain goes? I mean, clearly he was a criminal, right? I don't know. The guy could have been the best, the holiest minister that ever lived in the city and just fell on hard times. I don't know, but that was my origin. That was just the first thing I thought.
Slide the sandwich to the mail slot.
Yeah, exactly. And I did get, there's a difference between people who are homeless and people who are just panhandling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if y'all seen the increase of the people on the corners with the signs. It comes and goes. It vacillates. It does a roller coaster ride. Sometimes they don't seem to be there at all, and then suddenly there's been tons of them lately. I also noticed there's a lot more people talking to themselves, screaming it right out here. As a matter of fact, the other day, just going down the road, not here at our parking lot, but down the road, the guy was just hollering as loud as he could. I realize now I do that too in my car.
Well, it's me trying to sing though.
It's in my car. No, I get in arguments with people that aren't there, and I win every one of those arguments. I've never lost one. I make the best points ever. I just totally eviscerate them.
They're million zero.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, that was an eye opener. All right. Speaking of homeless and speaking of homes, I know it's kind of an uneasy segue there, isn't it? But it's something that it was kind of heart wrenching there. Thank you very much to People's Home Equity. The American dream, owning your own place, and it's still alive and well. Most people still want their own little piece of the sky, wherever it might be, down on the popular South Side or out in the middle of the woods where I live. People's Home Equity will help you get there. Local mortgage professionals, chatmortgage.com, 2 T's, chatmortgage.com, NMLS 66247, sponsoring Fred the Show, the second hour here on Nuga Radio that I do. Jeff Styles, that's my name. Jason the Argonaut over here. And have you actually seen that video?
No.
Fine video?
No. But I want to. After hearing, whenever I was listening to this in production, wow.
Oh, it's a beautiful, beautiful song. And actually, I love shooting GoPro stuff, and I actually did a little Thanksgiving video and sent it just to a handful of people. I guess my page, I have 2 on Vimeo and 2 on YouTube. I'm not even sure how I did that. I'm not sure how I split and got 2 channels on both. I kind of had to quit using Vimeo because they wanted me to start paying. And on my YouTube, I think it's open to public. If you want to go look, you can. There's a bunch of things on there. I never did that on purpose. I've never pushed it, but that song fits so perfectly with just the autumn and the leaves falling and just some of just a kind of sad, desolate looking skies, but also bursts of color here and there, and it just made for perfect sense. But I sent that out to a couple of friends, and I got a tremendous amount of response from it. Matter of fact, that's how I got that car. My friend that lives down on the other side of Macon he got in touch with me and said, "Man, that was one of the best videos you ever did." And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, it wasn't the video, it was the song. The song, it makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, this is the first time I've heard it, and whenever you sent it to me this morning, I listened to it, and I was like, oh, wow.
Do you have, if you don't mind me asking, you can always say, screw you, Jeff, that's way too personal. Do you have addiction in your family?
We do.
In your DNA?
Yeah, a couple of my family members have real addiction.
Problems.
And, I come from a family of addicts.
Yeah.
And
I got a double barrel of it.
Yeah, so my uncle was, and so I'm real selective on what I do because I don't know if I have that addictive personality. So that's why,
Well, by the time you found out, it would be too late. You're very wise to be at your age to not have developed anything like that, and it is no respecter of men. I can tell you that. And then the opiate thing is just out of control.
Mm-hmm.
It truly, truly is. We talked about that study with the women who were in postpartum depression, and they were trying to figure out if the women who had C-sections were more reliable, more dependent, and more apt to become hooked on opiates than those who gave natural childbirth. And they were just shocked and stunned that it was equal because C-section is supposed to be more painful. I said, that's the common denominator, of course, is the fact that they were prescribed opiates. Yeah. I can save them all the money that they're doing on these studies.
They can pay you the money.
Yeah, exactly. I'll do it for half whatever that study cost. I'll say, here's the common denominator. If you prescribe them to somebody, they are more likely to get hooked than if you don't subscribe them to somebody. Now, you can obviously find them anywhere, and they're everywhere, but it just amazed me when I did go to a rehab place now 12, 13 years ago. And some of the activities, they filled your day with stuff, idle hands. And the story of Big Pharma, and I think it was one that began with P. What's the big pharmaceutical company?
Pfizer?
Yeah. They literally, the acceptable losses that they had on their own ledger sheets that board members had to sign off on, and the reps out there had to study and learn, was 40,000 overdoses a year. 40,000 overdoses a year.
Wow.
And that was when they started taking OxyContin, which was made for end of life, end stage cancer patients. And they said, well, this is not a very good client base. It just keeps dying. So I said, let's make it for backaches. So suddenly people with backaches, which is just about every American I know, are getting this powerful drug. I'll just throw it out there. Check out that video and actually have some information at the end of it, but how musicians have gathered together to try to end the scourge. Wish them the best of luck. Also, I will say a big thank you to Warren and Griffin. Today is the last day. If you can find it in your budget and yourself, and you can do it, to make any kind of monetary donation to the Fallen 5 Memorial here in Chattanooga, then Warren and Griffin will match your gift up to $1,000. But today is the last day they'll be doing that. The last day they'll be doing that. So I think that'd be a very cool thing to do as a family. Maybe pull some money, do what you can. Get in contact with C. Mark over there. 265-HURT is their number here in Chattanooga. Dalton, 706-529-HURT. And get that money matched and see if you make a difference. And I will just the top 10 here in Chattanooga. The multiple fatality crash on I-75 with the trucker, VW adding the Atlas line, Trump and Pence coming to town. Number 2 is Jonathan E. Walker not being convicted in the Woodmore crash, being charged while he was out on parole with child rape. Yeah, that's. We'll go back to Kevin Spacey's poor choice. I mean, this is a guy who is determined, by God, he's going to go to jail. And the number 3 story, Erlanger, $30 million children's outpatient center. And I've already said, a fully realized dream. They did a very, very good job with that. I think Chattanooga should be proud.
And something else, too, I'm going to throw out there for Erlanger. They built the new mental health facility, too.
Yes.
And
which
we really
need, as we're talking about people screaming up and down the streets and hollering at traffic and sleeping on the sidewalks. It's there is such a shortage of beds and space and help for anybody, no matter how hard they look. Crank this up.
Reset myself and get back on track. I don't want this isolation.
I'm the dude, you know, that or his dudeness, Duder, or El Duderino, if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
Are you looking to buy a home? You go online and search, or you ride through the areas you want to move to, looking for time stands still when you see it. You know, that home. But you spend all that time. You build up all that excitement to find out that you only qualify for... Maybe you have a few things on your credit that keeps you from things that you could take care of. You know what you should do. Call the mortgage professional